Welcome to this FS23 tutorial video. In this video I'll show you all the vehicles of FS23. So we have vehicles and we have machines that are behind the tractors, and this is only for the self-propelled vehicles, and in some categories we have some other machines as well, and I cover them too. And in a different video I will show you all the trailers and sewing machines and stuff like that, to make this video not too long. Okay, let's start with the small tractors. And yeah, here I have to tell you two things. The first is, I will not read all the facts to you because that would be too long and we would get a number crash in our heads, and therefore I'll only read you the most important things, like the price, and for tractors the horsepower, and maybe on some tractors the speed, or if something is special. And the other thing is, I have the Switch version now, and therefore I have all the vehicles and machines, and in the mobile version there are not all machines and vehicles existing in the base game, but you can buy all the other machines. They are more or less only the bigger machines, or some of the bigger machines. You can buy them as a DLC, and then you already get them in-game. And yeah, so you have to pay a price, which is normal because the mobile version is below $10, and the Switch version is more than $40. So in the Switch version you already paid for everything. Okay, that being said, we start with the Landini. This is a very small and narrow tractor, especially for grape work or in the olive gardens, because it's so narrow. It costs 63,500 and it has 112 horsepower. And then we have the Lindner Lindtrak, and it costs 106,500 and it has 136 horsepower. The next is a John Deere 6, and it costs 116,000 bucks and it has 140 horsepower. Then there is the Fendt 314, and it costs 124,500 bucks and it has 142 horsepower. Oh, I already get my numbers crashed in the brain. So, and now we have a small Massey Ferguson, the MF5S, for 122,000 and it has 145 horsepower. Then there is the Valtra G. I guess it's the only Valtra in the game, a small Valtra, for 123,500 with 145 horsepower. And that's the small tractors. So now we go down to the medium tractors, and we start with the Massey Ferguson MF 3670. And this is the tractor we already have two of them as a starting equipment. So yeah, most of us will be acquainted with this tractor. And it costs 99,000 and it has 170 horsepower. And maybe you wonder, why is this cheaper than the others but stronger? That is because it's an old model, and therefore it's cheaper in correlation to the horsepower. And this and the John Deere 4755, those are the old models, and the other models are more or less all new models. Here we have the Zetor Crystal. It costs $121,500 and it has 171 horsepower. Then a New Holland T6 for $129,000 and 175 horsepower. And here it is the John Deere 4755 for $110,000, 500 with 190 horsepower. Here you can see it too, that it is rather cheap for the horsepower because it's old-fashioned tractor. And we have the one of those in our starting equipment. Then there is the Landini 7 Robo 6, and this is the bigger brother of the tiniest tractor, but this is a normal size. It costs $169,500 and has 225 horsepower. And then we have the JCB Fast Track 4220 for $218,000, 500, or should I say $218,500? I think that would be correct. And then it has 235 horsepower. And the special thing about this, you can drive 60 kilometers per hour with it, so it's faster than the others. And then there is a Fendt 724 Vario, and it costs $211,500 and has 246 horsepower. And then we have a Deutz Farm 8280 TTV, and it costs $237,500 and has 287 horsepower. And there is the Class Axion, and it costs $231,500. Why they all cost $500 in the end, I ask myself. And it has 295 horsepower. And those are the medium tractors. Let's go to the large tractors. And some of those large tractors are not there in the base game of the mobile game, but you can buy them as DLC, as I said, and I don't know yet which vehicles are not available in the base game. So first I have to get my Android version, and then I will have to check this, and I'm planning on making a video dedicated on all the DLC tractors and such. Okay, we start with the Massey Ferguson MF8S, and it costs $245,000 and it has 305 horsepower. So now we are in the region of more than 300 horsepower. There is the McCormick X8 for $245,000 and it has 310 horsepower. And then there is the John Deere 7, and it costs $273,000 and has 352 horsepower. And the Fendt 900 for $340,500 again, and with 415 horsepower. So this is more than 400 horsepower now. And here is the Case Magnum for $358,500 and 417 horsepower. And there is the New Holland T8 for 336,000 bucks and 435 horsepower. And a John Deere, an 8, for 355,500 bucks, and it has 458 horsepower. And it's still getting bigger. We have the class Xerion now, and this is the big one of class tractors for 437,000 bucks with 530 horsepower. So now we are in the region of more than 500 horsepower. And the last one is the versatile 4WD for 398,500 bucks, and it has 6,665 horsepower. So this is really a big tractor. Okay, now we go to the trucks, and there are not so many. We have the Mack Superliner for 110,000 bucks with 500 horsepower. And we have the Mack Black Anthem. It costs 151,500 bucks with 505 horsepower. Okay. And then there are the harvesters. They are more than the trucks. This is our starting harvester, the Deutz-Fahr Topliner, and yeah, a lot of people say it is ugly, but I would say yes, it is ugly, but it's so useful and is as a really cheap starting harvester. It is awesome because you have a wide working width, it's 6 meters, and the bunker for your grain is 8,500 liters, and it only costs 129,500 bucks, and it already has 310 horsepower. So this is no small combine. I would say it's medium size, and in its time, it's an old one, it was a big combine. And yeah, but yeah, it looks like a frog, and with too big lettering and such, but it's useful. That's my personal opinion about this. Okay, so the next is Case Axial Flow, and it costs 301,500 bucks. It has 449 horsepower, and the bunker for the grain is 10,570 liters, so only a little bit bigger. It has more horsepower, but the price is 2.5 times as much as the Topliner. Then we have the Claas Trion for 401,000 bucks. It has 435 horsepower and 12,000 liters for your grain. And then there's a John Deere X9 for 550,000, and it has 690 horsepower and 16,200 liters for your grain. And here we are already in the area of the big combine harvesters. And we have the Claas Lexion, which is big, and it costs 489,500 with 780 horsepower and 18,000 liters grain capacity. And that's it for the harvesters. And the headers, we will have a look at them in a different video. Then we have the forage harvesters. Those are for corn. If you cut the chaff and not the corn. So here we have the Fendt Katana, and it costs 395,000, and it has 650 horsepower. And this is the only one. Then we have potato technology. And the first one is the sowing machine for potatoes. So it isn't called sowing machine, but that is what it does. It plants the potatoes. You need a special machine for this. It costs 46,000 and it needs a tractor with 150 horsepower. So this is not a self-propelled vehicle, but it is a trailer. It's a machine that is behind your tractor, and therefore the horsepower doesn't mean it has 150 horsepower, but it needs 150 horsepower. And yeah, it has a working width of 3 meters. I think this is a very interesting point. And the capacity for the potatoes is 2,665 liters. This is not so much for potatoes. So if you want to fill it up with your own potatoes, you have to drive back and forth always thousands of times, depending on the size of your field. And then we have the Grimme Ventor. And this is a harvester for potatoes. And yeah, it's not so cheap. It costs 599,000 bucks. And it has a capacity for 22.5 meters, not square meters, cubic meters. So 22,500 liters. Okay, yeah. And this is the only harvester for potatoes. And you can't rent them. All the machines, you can't rent anything. You have to buy everything. So potato is only for a time when you are rich. And most of the machines that are behind this are all for, if you are rich, you can buy it. If you played hundreds of hours and earned your money, then you can start growing potatoes, sugar beets, cotton, grapes, olives, and so forth. Or on mobile, if you buy yourself the money. This is possible, but only on the mobile versions. Here we have the sugar beet technology, and the Rootster is a sugar beet harvester that you can pull with your tractor. And it's much cheaper than the other sugar beet harvesters. It costs 123,000. You need a tractor with 225 horsepower, and the capacity for the sugar beets is only 6,000 liters. This sounds nice, but it isn't. If you use this for harvesting a rather small field, it will take you hours, and you have to go to empty it every 2 minutes. But it's cheap. It's a rather cheap way to work with sugar beets. And the sowing of the sugar beets is with a planter machine, the same that you use for corn or sunflowers. Okay, then we have the bigger harvester, the Roper Tiger. It costs 499,000 and has a capacity for 43,000 liters. This is good. This is much more than the small one before. And therefore, with this machine, the sugar beet harvest is rather okay and simple. And here we have a horn cutter, and it costs 79,000, and you have to attach it to your Roper Tiger. Okay, and you need this to harvest your sugar beets. Okay, then we have the cotton technology. And we start with the big harvester. It's from Case. It costs 485,000 and it has 415 horsepower and a capacity of 20,000 liters. That means it produces a huge bale, a really huge cotton bale. And then when the bale is full, it is pressed out of the machine. And the sawing of the cotton is like with the sugar beet, with a special planting machine that you also use for maize and sunflowers. And then you have a special transporter for this huge bale, the cotton bale. It costs 26,000 and you can transport one bale with this. And if you want to transport more bales, you take this. It costs 46,000 and can carry 2 bales. They are both from Lizard, and Lizard is the brand from Giants, so for all vehicles that doesn't have a brand, they use Lizard. Okay, now comes the GRAPE technology. And here we have a subsoiler, a very narrow subsoiler that is dedicated to the work in the grape orchard. And yeah, it costs 5,000 and has a working width of 1.5 meters. And it needs a tractor with only 65 horsepower. So usually it is used with the small Landini or other narrow tractors, but we only have this Landini tractor for the grape and the olive orchards. And then we have a mulcher where you go over and treat the grass that is growing in your orchard. And then we have grape cutter that is used in autumn to cut the grape plants or what is too long of them. Oh, the mulcher is 4,500 and the cutter is 16,000. And then we have a special sprayer, and it is also for work in the grape and olive orchards. It costs 28,000 and has a capacity of 4,000 liter. And I didn't find out yet whether it's for fertilizing or for herbicide. I would think rather fertilizing. In FS22, this machine can do both. But I don't know how it is in FS23. I only know that all those machines can do only one job. So I think I'll find out later, and if you want to know, you ask me in the comments and then I try to find out. And here we have manure spreader, a very narrow one, especially for those grape and olive orchards. It costs 28,500 and has a working width of 3 meters. And oops. Yeah, I think it's okay. No, here. There is the harvester. It costs 242,000 and has a grape capacity for 3,100 liters. So not so much. You have to empty it rather often, or rather as the yield of the grapes is not so big. You only have to empty it sometimes until your grape field is harvested. And here we have a special grape transporter. You can only transport grapes with this. And you can't transport grapes with anything else. It costs 39,000 and you can put 12,000 liters of grapes inside. So then we have the olive technology, and those are more or less the same machines that we just had, as you can see, but the harvester is a different machine. It costs 306,000 and it has a capacity for 4,000 liters of olives. It looks very similar, but you need both machines if you want to work with olives. And there is no special transporter because, as far as I know, you can transport the olives in the normal trailers. And then we have the forestry machines. There is the Ponce Cobra. This is a harvester and it costs 445,000, and yeah, you can harvest the trees with it. And then there is the Rodne Forwarder, and this is a vehicle to transport the trees or the cutted logs, and it costs 350,000 and it can carry 26 logs. This is a self-propelled machine with a crane and you can put logs in the back. And then we have the stump grinder. It costs 27,000 and you can remove the stumps and then the trees grow back. That's how you plant trees in FS23. You just remove the stumps and it grows back. Okay, so soon we are done with the vehicles. We have cars, or let's say we have one car, a Lizard pickup for 45,000. It has 300 horsepower, so it's very strong, and you can drive 80 kilometers per hour with it. And then we have the pallet handling, and there we have two telehandlers. One is 98,000 from Manitou and JCB for 108,000. And then there is the forklift from Jung Heinrich, and all of them have an auto load function. So you just go near the pallet and then it loads by itself. You don't have to fiddle around, which is really useful for people who are not so good at fiddling around with a controller or such. And then, this is important, there is also this very important trailer for pallets. This is the only way how to transport pallets on a trailer, and it has an autoload function itself. So you can put it behind your tractor and then go to your egg pellets or your production pellets and press a button, and then everything loads onto this trailer and you drive somewhere where you can sell it, and then you can just unload all of it in one go, fully automatically. And you don't need a forklift or a telehandler. Those are only for if you like to play with those. So if you want to have it more realistic or so. But if you want to have it simple, just buy this trailer and go to your pallets, press the button, and everything is fully loaded. And I find it important to know where it is, because I already had some questions from people that told me, I don't have this trailer, and they showed it a lot in the videos they made and in the screenshots for promotion purposes, and therefore people are searching for this, and you need this if you want to transport pallets. And it is here in the pallet handling where it is okay, but you expect something like forklifts. So the next will be the trailers, auger wagons and such. So this is for a different video. And yeah, so this is it for all the self-propelled propelled vehicles in some of the trailers or other machines. Okay, I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and all the best. Till next time. Tschüss.